Hey guys, welcome.
I'm so excited.
It's episode 2 of Bulls Deep.
It is. I love this show. I used to do this other show, but then I got promoted to this show, and who wouldn't want to do a show called Bulls Deep? I mean, honestly, if you got an offer like this, how would you turn it down? I mean, the name alone is enough. You should see the stuff like my shirt, but we have it with all over that says things like Bulls Deep. And what's the favorite?
Da boobs.
Da boobs.
The sports bras for the Deep in Chi-Town, which you can get at deepinchi-town.com. Go to our shop. It's a lot of fun. Check it out.
That's right. That was one thing that happened. That is so exciting. I put it online on my pages because I was really proud this week.
We got crop tops. We've got leggings. We've got sports bras. We've got bomber jackets. We just at 8:30 launched the Bears playoff shirts.
Yay!
For all the Bears playoff needs that you need. Get them right now because they are playing New Orleans. So
it's all right. It's all right. It's gonna be a good time either way because we're Bears fans and Bulls fans. So, but I love the tops because Oklahoma weather means that we can wear things like crop tops and tube tops and sports bras. So we have most of the year that we can wear those.
Yeah. Except for last week.
It's only a very small time that it's cold here.
Today was one of those.
Yep.
Yesterday, the day
Yep.
before.
We had like the week of cold, and then we'll start to turn back around. Oklahoma was like, enough of that. That was kind of chilly. Let's turn around.
Yeah.
We don't know anything like Chicago.
No, it's definitely it's a lot easier to live here than it is back in the greatest city in the Midwest and possibly greatest city in America.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of great things come out of Chicago. I mean,
Yeah.
our favorite teams come out of Chicago.
I'll tell you one bad thing that's not happening in Chicago, and that's winning at the United Center right now because the Bulls are 0-3 at home. It's not a good way, not a good look for you guys. Not a good look at all.
Well, this Bulls team, though, I'm really excited. I mean, I know that this year is not necessarily the year that we're looking the best, but I can't wait to see how this team will look in the second and third year of some of these players. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So first, we're going to talk about the Bulls and the Warriors. So how did you like watching that game?
Well, I wasn't able to watch a whole lot of it and give it a lot of dedication because it was going on in the middle of this show that we're filming. So I didn't get to give a whole
We got
lot.
to see the end, though, the crucial end.
I did. Which, by the way, as of this recording or this live broadcast at 8:33 p.m. on a Sunday night, the Bulls are down by 4 in the third quarter.
No, 4 is not bad though. 4 is not bad at all.
That's easily obtainable. So they hung around with Golden State for the whole game. They had a lead there for a while, and then Golden State kind of became the Golden State of old, and they got close. They tied it. Then we went up, and it was, I mean, Levine led with 33 points. 4 guys scored over 20. Mm-hmm. A great game, especially against a team that's notoriously good, that's going to be a playoff team pretty much yearly, the Golden State Warriors, as long as you get like a normal season and you don't have anything weird or shitty happen. But just bad time management at the end.
That's that's what Levine said. He said, he gave them way too much time. He scored a bunch in the beginning, and then there was just way too much time for them to make it up. And whenever you looked at the stats, the things that I pointed out, because I looked and, we were so equally matched, but turnovers, they had half as many turnovers as us. We had 24-12. I mean, that's a significant amount of them doing something a little bit better than us, them being, able to get in there. And then they had 17 steals to our 4. And we only had 2 more, and we had 2 more personal body fouls. So that's saying that they're able to get in there quicker and more efficiently, technically in basketball, because they aren't fouling, and be able to do the stealing and be able to do that. So that is one area that I definitely see us needing to work on and strengthen to be able to play against a team like that, and hopefully in the years to come be a better contender. I mean, because I thought we done really, really well. So knowing that those are just some areas to hone in more, it's promising. It's great. Like, no, I don't want the loss. I thought the loss was kind of, I felt like we should have won, because I felt like we were the better team, but we just made foolish choices.
Well, right now they're sitting at a 2-4 record, right? They've got no games at home that they've won. They were able to pull out both games against DC. For the month of December was 5 games. So let's just go off of a 5-game average right there. They scored 117 points in those 5 games. That was it. They had 40. Well, that was the team average. That was the average or whatnot. The field goal percentage, they were at 45.6. 3-point percentage was 37.4. They had a 79.4 average on free throws. Offensive rebounds, they were able to get 8.4. Defensive rebounds, 34.2. Rebound total, they had 42.6%, or 42.6 over those 5 games. 26 assists, 7.4 steals, but they had 18.4 turnovers. That's what they were averaging.
That exactly what they had 24
and right now they got 21. It's 21 turnovers in January on 1 game. Is what right now what their average is looking at. Like
that is one of our definite areas that in the things I was looking at to see an area that's a whole, I guess. Because it's it's an area.
A lot
But
of
that game
fouls.
was lost. Our first game, we lost, that lucky 3-point shot. And then we did. We turned it around the next two games. We won them both 115 to 107 and then 133 to 130. But they've been playing really great ball to watch. And that's something as a fan, you really like seeing them play competitive ball because with scores like that, they were playing competitively against those teams.
Right.
And so that's good basketball. That's good to see where they could go, to know that next year they could improve and be better. And, this is the first year with a coach. We've got a rookie that's playing most of the game. You've got White and Levine and Carter are all backing him up with some of their high scoring in this team. But I don't know, it's still just a young baby team. And they're just learning. I mean, Patrick went high school, college, pros. And now how much more games do you play in from pros to high school? In 2 years, he went from playing one game a week to playing 4.
Well, you either have it or you don't. And I think basketball is one of those games where, that's why that whole making people go to college was different. You had players that came out of high school. I mean, probably 2 out of the 3 greatest basketball players that you'll ever see play came straight out of high school. Kobe Bryant.
I think he has the talent. Like, I think they're doing a great job. I love how Donovan's playing him and like he's getting him in there and saying like, get out there. You can't mess with my shirt. You can fail. And because the game, I really loved watching the Bulls and the Bucks. I mean, because did you expect them to win? I mean, did you start the game expecting us to win? I like your eyebrows.
No, I knew right off the rip. I mean, last year, before the pandemic, they were flirting with being that 90s Bulls team with the best winning record ever. And then the shutdown happened and it just kind of blew up. But now you have, this whole thing with them, the Greek Freak staying in Milwaukee, deciding that they won out. That's the cool thing about NBA free agency is it's so different. Like it jumps around so much, and these teams can pick up this player and everything like that. And he decided to stay, but you knew going in that you were hoping that there could be some positives to take from it. It's hard to pull a positive out of that game. I mean, what was it? 96 to 126, a 30-point deficit. So you play your players to get your reps. That's the only way that you're going to make it in this league is you've got guys who have been there before and who have been here and who are going to stick around. And you've got guys coming behind you that are going to try to take your spot and take over. And basketball really is a young man's sport.
I mean, well, can you imagine? Look at their knees. I can't imagine looking like what their knees go through. Because they're like already at the growth rate they had to have gotten to get to be that tall.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they're jumping way more than most average Americans would jump.
Most of them have jumpers knees, Osgood, Slaughter. They've got all of that. Derrick Rose, he had multiple knee injuries in Chicago. It's just the way that he played, his body didn't hold up. So I know football has a shorter lifespan for pro guys, but basketball's right there with you if you're not careful.
I like that basketball has lower concussion hurting our players long term in their noggins, though.
Right.
There are perks.
But your time to shine in the NBA is very limited unless you're just this huge star. Mm-hmm. Veterans, they kind of class out and they go overseas, play European ball, and finish up their glory days over there. But it's a lot shorter lifespan than what used to be in the NBA. You don't have a lot of guys who have that longevity, who've got 10, 12 years in the league like you used to. You don't have the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons and even the Reggie Millers and Michael Jordans and Kobe Bryants. You don't get those guys all the time, right? There you go. Jumping off the boobs. But yeah,
he really couldn't fly. I mean, he's still flying today. See,
he is flying with the Charlotte Hornets because he owns the damn thing. But you have to get those reps and you got to get going. So it's smart to play Patrick Williams in those games. Maybe give him some rest. that was the thing. The next game after the last Wizards game, they rested Russell Westbrook because they don't really have a lot of depth on that team. So you take the rest where you can find it. And instead of resting Williams where they could have, they wanted him to get some experience. That's a division game. Those are games that you're going to see those opponents a few times throughout the year.
We see him again in March, I think, and I think it's a good enough spread too that gave him a good time to play against it, and then he'll be able to learn and definitely improve and see where he falters and see where he can improve.
Right.
I thought if you looked at it from the perspective we didn't expect to lose and we looked to learn, I thought it was great. I mean, they played him hard, and if he's supposed to be this all-around player that we're hoping he's going to be for us, or turn into, that we're investing into, then he has to be able to play against teams like that,
Yeah. Yeah, you need your star players. You need to treat them like a star. You need to let them know you're in the big show. We're expecting you to come in, play day in and day out, play lights out basketball, no matter if you're going to win or you're not. It's the difference between the rest of your career. You don't have dynasties anymore. So a lot of guys aren't playing just for their team and for a championship. They're playing for their stats. They're playing for that opportunity to move forward in whatever it is that they're doing.
And I do like the free agent thing. It does add an element that changes things because you expect people to change. And I was just listening to some things earlier, and because honestly, it wasn't the Bulls and I was driving, so I wasn't taking as much attention. But apparently there's been a few people that we expected to change and then they decided to stay. And I love the upset it causes. It's an interesting dynamic to me.
Right.
So you got guys you're right about them coming in and just playing ball. It's not the same as Michael Jordan. You're not talking about the Pippen, Jordan, Rodman trio legacy thing, but you are talking about people coming in and playing some good ball. I mean, it is still the love of the game. You still get to see it in some moments. And I think Patrick he could be one of those people that make us why we love the Bulls. I love watching the Bulls.
Right.
The Bulls is magic.
Right. And right now, just giving you a quick score update. I know people are watching this live, and we thank you guys on Sportscaster and Facebook and YouTube. And follow, like, subscribe at all those things. Deep in Chi-Town, that's where you'll find us. And also, you'll find us on Spotify, usually the morning after the show. 8:30.
And I'm going to be promoting us on TikTok to all of my almost 11,000 followers. So thank you all for being on there. I'm on the Creator Fund, so I do ridiculous things to make my followers happy. So come on there, and I'll be promoting this as well. You can find links to our clothing line. That is so beautiful.
But the score is 74-73, so the Bulls up by 1 with late in the third quarter.
See, they've been playing really, again, I feel like this is competitive ball for the people they've been at least playing against so far. Again, we didn't really expect them to play in the last one, or to win, to win in the last one. But, and tonight we even have someone out. We have, where's my note? Hutchinson, right? Is out tonight.
Hutchinson is out, and so is Sadoronsky. He tested positive for the COVID-19. So
yes, and I mean, having Luka out for the Mavs, that gives us more of a chance. No, I mean, it really does. Taking somebody that's their MVP out. I mean, I want both of them to recover. I hate that it's taken out for this reason. There's no, want it for that. We want him to make a safe recovery and all that. But for the game, it makes us have better odds.
Right. Well, and I will say, I mean, this is a good time to bring it up. I was going to play the monkey knife fight game tonight, and I did not because Luka is out, and I had Luka in the over instead of the under, so I canceled the game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because I mean that's a pretty safe one, because he's a great performer, and especially, no offense, I mean, but that's the great thing about monkey knife fight. You really are able to go, and you don't have to just be a Bulls fan and be diehard and all that. You can go and play the way that the odds are in your favor. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Right. Well, and that's the fun thing too about it is because Monkey Knife Fight is the daily fantasy sports gaming website for the casual sports fan that is simple, fun, and easy to play. Users determine which superstars competing in the day's professional sporting events will record more or less than the contest line provided. Monkey Knife Fight's daily fantasy prop games play similar to the salary cap based DFS games, but without algorithms, lineups, and most importantly, sharks. There are several contests to choose from, none of which require hours of research or on other competing sites. Start with a simple 2-2 or go for the highest payouts, which can be 100 times and higher by selecting an 8 and 8 more or less contest. Get started now with a 100% instant match bonus of up to $50 with the promo code BULLSDEEP.
Yay, we got our own promo code.
We all the shows will have the promo code. We've got 5 going on 6 shows coming up throughout 2021. January 10th, we'll start the Hawks Talks, which will be all of your Blackhawks talk. And then in February, we will be doing the North and South for all of your baseball, North Side, Wind Side, and South of South Side. It'll be a lot of fun. And all of that stuff will start up once pitchers and catchers report. We figure if they're reporting, we should be reporting too.
And I told you I got to learn more about curling this weekend. And
yes.
So I'm going to be looking
I don't know if there's
that.
a Chicago professional curling team. Chicago has a professional curling team. We might throw that one in there.
I mean, I'll cover it. I'll do my coverage and try to get some information.
I love this team, the Swedish national team, the women's team. Yeah, they're like supermodels.
Well, see, and maybe we'll get to go watch them. You never know. Because I don't know how covered curling is, but maybe we
in
can
America, it's not. It's covered every 4 years.
Well, maybe we could cover it more often.
Well, there's actually no professional league for it. In fact, the people that curl for the Olympics all have full-time jobs, and they get no money from the Olympic committee.
See, so we definitely should give them some props. That's a sport that is the love of the game.
Yes. Yeah. It's usually it's bartenders and just random, regular Joe guys.
I think that's kind of what Chicago Bears fans are.
We are definitely that.
We're a very odd collection of people that love, I don't know, our utter demise, because we are very much an up-down team.
Yes.
And well, we love it.
Right now the Bulls are pretty down instead of up in this season with a 2-4 record. So
I thought you were going to tell me the score. I was like, we're down now?
No. I'm trying to stay off the updates on that. We're up by 5 right now going into the fourth quarter.
That's so exciting, though.
But if they win this one, they'll take them to 3-4, which would be really nice. They're playing Portland on Tuesday, and then they play Sacramento on Wednesday. I think if they play this right, they can end up in the winner's side. I think they can end up with a 5-4 record if they play this the right way. Both games are later games, 9:30 and 9 o'clock. And then they got the Lakers on Friday. So they're out all West Coast this week. And then the Clippers next Sunday. That one's actually at a 3 p.m. game. So we may actually have the results and all of that stuff to talk about here.
I thought that we would by the time we played. And let's see. Going with the Bulls and the Trailblazers Tuesday, they have a 3-win, 2-loss. So, they're really not that, better than us. Or, you know what I mean? It's not that.
Basketball, hockey, and baseball, the 3 out of the major 4 sports is one of those things that until you have about 10 games under your belt for the season, you can't judge anything. You can't go based off of what's happening, because at that point things are still going together. Anything that you've got 30 plus games to play, there has to be some type of, kind of getting into the swing of things. If you think about Major League Baseball, you've got teams that start the season out number 1 and they end up in the bottom.
I know. We're going to say good things, though. So I think that we were kind of, what did we say? We didn't vote on the Trailblazers. Did we think that we were going to win? Did you think they were going to win?
I feel like they're going to win. I feel like they've got a good chance against them. I feel like they've got a good chance against the Clippers even that Sunday. I think Clippers, Kings, and Portland, if they play good, consistent ball. The thing is they're right at average all of their in all of their stats. I mean, if you look at their stats
Turnovers. I
online,
mean, that's the one area we're just sucking in, but everything else is pretty
well,
that's what I noticed. We're pretty
it's they're playing they're playing league average ball.
yeah.
They're just not shooting enough. They've got too many turnovers, and they're not putting the ball up. And that's you can't put the ball up if you have turnovers. They've got low offensive rebounds. They're not hitting the boards. They're not following their shots.
Oh, did you look at them against the Bucks though? Like Patrick, he's 6'8". I mean, and I haven't measured his wingspan compared to mine, but I'm sure it's admirably bigger being 6'8", you know?
Well, it's not.
And he,
It's the same wingspan more than likely. It's just a lot more wingspan.
yes, but he looked little in that game.
Oh yeah,
Like he didn't even look like the big guy. And
the Greek Freak is huge.
yeah, you think that all ball players are huge, especially being 5'4". Like you just know that they're big guys. But when you see one that looks like, oh, you make him look little. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
felt like I wonder how he felt because that's a man. I mean, I don't know. You're a man at 19, but as you get older, you fill out more and become a broader. Like he was playing ball against a big old guy.
right.
I don't know that guy's stats, and I thought about looking him up, and I didn't ever. But I was like, oh, that it just made him look smaller. That brought me back to that game, Sam. Because that is they're just kind of average. But I mean, in some situations, that being a young team, you saw it at that moment. I mean, and we didn't expect them to win, but I was just like, oh,
I mean, look at this right now. As of before the Dallas game, steals per game leader Zach LaVine, 1.5 steals.
yeah.
Last season leader was Chris Dunn. He had 2 steal. He averaged 2 steals a game. Blocks per game right now is Patrick Williams, 1 block per game. Daniel Gafford last year led the season for us with 1.3. That's not good defensive things. You need more steals. You need more blocks. It's the only way you're going to be able to do it. Our best 3-point field goal percentage is 66.7 against Denzel Valentine, which is way better than last year. Adam Makoka, he led with 40%. So there are some pluses. We've got a 66.7%. Also 6th game of the season. So that take it or leave it where you want. All of these things should go up as the season continues. But right now you're sitting at 1.5 steals, 1 block per game, and that's your defensive output. You're right now your field goal percentage is Daniel Gafford 66.7. He led last season with 70.1. So he's a little under his average from last year, but it's still looking good. But your average points per game, 22.2 from Zach LaVine is your leader. Last year, he was at 25.5. So he's 3 points lower this season than he was last season. Rebounds even.
That new coaching staff, not replacing, but do you think that the coaching staff change will help improve that? Because obviously looking at the stats this year and last year, that is a similar, so it's not a to be blamed. It is a consistent habit we have.
Yeah, it's just he's got to shoot more to get more. Rebounds way under now. Wendell Carter Jr. led last season with
Carter had some of the highest score. He scored over 20 points in the Warriors game.
But he had 9.4 rebounds average per game last year. He's sitting at 7.8. I mean, that's almost 2 under.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you gotta have that defense.
Do you think that maybe COVID is making them play less aggressive ball? Do you think that has any?
No.
Okay. I hadn't thought of it until now, but I was gonna give it a fly of
No,
is
I
it
mean when you're, like you're taking those tests so often, like
yeah, and that's definitely with people that nature and in those sports, some of them do take vaccines and take all kinds of precautions that we don't see before the court. And it is really weird because usually when you're seeing the difference between like a practice footage and a game footage is part of the stands. You can always tell clips. Now it is so hard because the clips, the footage, has nobody in the stands anyway. And it almost looks awkward watching games right now.
yeah,
I mean, not that you watch them for the background, but you expect the background to be there, you know?
right. Well, and that's why they have those tarps and everything over them. Really, what that is doing is it's helping with glare.
Is it?
Yeah. So the lights will glare off of it and kind of distract. You have less of that happening when you have a full stadium. And I didn't realize that until I went to a fantasy baseball camp in Detroit and played in empty Comerica Park. And I went to try to catch a ball. Yeah. Went to try to catch a fly ball and I lost it in like glare coming off of seats.
Oh.
So I mean, that's that, you can simulate all the sound. Yeah, you don't get the atmosphere and the excitement in the crowd and everything like that, but it's, you learn how to compete. A lot of these guys have competed their whole entire lives in empty gyms.
Yeah.
So, basketball, things like that, people who play sports like that, you get accustomed to things, you get accustomed to the way that stuff is, but you don't have to worry about it with in basketball as much, I don't think. At least that's just my personal preference for it. Growing up in Indiana for a long time, basketball's king.
Yes.
I've been to some of the largest high school gymnasiums in America, and those places are packed on a night. But then you come back down to Oklahoma, and unless you're in one of those small schools like you and I went to,
And that I live
basketball
in
isn't
now.
really that big. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like going to a silo basketball game, that gym's packed.
Yes.
But you go to like, other schools, and there's hardly anybody there on a night. So
Yes. But and that's the difference too. You go to Texas though, in Texas football, nobody does it bigger than like high school Texas football. If you want to see, might as well be professional level gyms and equipment and coaching staff. Go look at some high school football teams.
well, McKinney High School in McKinney, Texas, which is just north of Dallas for people who are from Chicago. It's just north of Dallas. They play a college bowl game there now.
Yeah, it's I've been to some of those stadiums, and this is back a minute ago when I was in school.
Right.
And they were gorgeous. And I've been to the Dallas Stadium and was around when it was being built and all that. And I'm like, I've seen things like this before in this state. And it almost made me less impressed with the stadium going in, especially because it went in Arlington. I literally had little thug kids that I was dealing with in corrections that were vandalizing the premises for it. And I was like, why did we put this in the middle of the ghetto exactly? Because my little
they give you tax breaks. I hated it. That's one thing that I never liked about being in Dallas was I had to drive so damn far to go to a ball game.
Yes.
Like when you're in Chicago, everything outside of, the White Sox are all within like a fairly general area of Chicago.
I love Chicago. Chicago's beautiful. I actually talked about it this weekend because it has my favorite museum of the whole country. The Museum of Natural History is just one of my favorites. So if anyone that is not from Chicago has to go, it is definitely a place to check out. I don't know what COVID rules are going on right now, but it is a phenomenal museum. Chicago is a very beautiful city. I mean, it's got a lot of like negative, but it has a lot of beauty to it.
I just go for the food.
Oh, I could go. I mean, that is a definite reason to say you're going. If you say you're going
food and sports, that's why you're there.
It's justifiable.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Yes. So be checking it out. I mean, the games, the Lakers, I mean, don't be looking for a win there. Right now they're sitting with a 9-point lead
And
over Dallas
kind
with
of like what they did
6:55
against
left.
the Bucks, and put in some players and really get to see, maybe make some of those decisions to play some players in positions that they wouldn't get to play. Or maybe we'll see Patrick do some things again. You never know. Like, so I'm expecting it to still be a good game. So watch. Just
Right.
don't expect, like, if we win. I mean, there's magic, but I mean that's just not what I'm not voting.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. But I do think that Trailblazers, the Clippers, and the definitely the Kings. I feel like out of those trips right there, they've got a good chance to go 2 out of 3 on those. Out of
I
those
know
3 games.
Kings and Clippers are my pick. I mean, if I had to pick like 2 and 2, I pick Trailblazers, Lakers to lose, and I pick Kings and Clippers to win. But Trailblazers are definitely like a contender to go either way. If they win, I'm not going to be like, how did that happen? It's not the
Right.
Lakers.
Especially if they win tonight. If they win tonight and they split the road trip, it's a success.
I would be excited if they win tonight. What is our update? I am dying.
9 points with 6:55 left. They're
Oh,
up.
that is so exciting. That is amazing.
So we should do a night game here in the next week. And just live stream it and do the play-by-play for it.
Okay.
We should.
Aren't you locked out of your NFL thing though? Or not NFL thing, NBA. What were you saying you were locked out of?
I'm locked out of the NBA tonight because it's a blacked out, because I live in the Fox Sports Southwest, so I couldn't watch it on my computer.
See, I wanted to be able to say, so we brought it up earlier. Back in the day, whenever I was a wee little child, before the days of the internet, you had to watch this thing on this television, and you got to watch all the games because they all came on there.
Well, because you had TNT, but the thing was Chicago, when we were watching, we're living out that whole 96 to 98 was probably when we were probably our most avid in the, Chicago getting the market. Plus you had WGN. I got to watch all my Cubs games. I got to watch all of my Blackhawks and all of.
I used to watch Chicago like it was on,
Yeah.
and so I watched plenty of games. I don't remember seeing as many people on. Like Chicago was like it.
Yeah. You didn't have to. It wasn't having to search for it, but NBC Sports moved in and took over, and so now we don't get that anymore. So it's not cool.
It's not, because between all of Chicago sports, I'm having to be like, I gotta watch this channel and this channel and this app and this and that, and I'm like,
and the good thing about it too is, especially with hockey, like I get most of the hockey stuff because it is out of market for a lot of what they play. So I don't really ever have to worry about it unless they play the Stars or they're on some primetime game. That would be really the only thing that I don't watch. What was that?
I have a Stars signed puck.
Oh yeah, no, the Stars are good. I'm excited to watch. I followed a lot of the Stars because I lived in Dallas for so long, but I definitely think the Blackhawks are going to be a lot of fun this season. So check it out, Hawks Talks. It'll come on. It'll start Sunday. That's kind of when we're doing all of our stuff. Sunday on Sportscaster is where you should live if you're wanting to keep up with all things Chicago, because we're going to have it for you.
And in February, I will come around, right? That's when baseball will come around on the Sportscaster for
Got
us.
a lot of big plans. So, guys, two wins this week. Give us 2 wins, Bulls. We'll be happy. Win tonight. That'll get you guys to a 3-4 record. Go in. You guys can go out there, make it 6-6. Just be 500, and we'll be happy because we can go up from there. We don't want to be losing this early on in the season, because it's, before you realize it, there's going to be 56 games or whatever the thing is on it this year, and you could be too far behind. Luckily, everybody seems to make the playoffs because the playoffs in NBA last for 6 freaking months. So that's basically it. I mean, this is your show, Shanda. I'm just kind of along for the ride.
I'm so excited. I love having you along for the ride with me. Aren't you so excited to be here?
I am. Basketball isn't my strongest sport, but I did it in high school. I did it in college. What was that?
I was a basketball cheerleader for 4 years. This is my sport of choice. If there was a drug of choice for me, it would be Michael Jordan and basketball.
See, I did college and high school play by play in the media stuff. So that was kind of, going back to that type of deal and covering that. I kind of still remember somewhat of what I did. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm sorry if I'm not that great at talking basketball and trades and things like that, but I'm doing my damnedest.
That's how I feel.
And if you
I
want to
mean,
see
you
me
do
do
a
my
lot of
best,
talking on the sidelines as a cheerleader. You do a bunch of watching, but you don't have to talk about it while you're doing it. So
I'll
I'm
tell you
having to get used to doing that part as well.
I'll tell you the people that you would be surprised that know a lot about sports but hate sports are kids who were in band.
Huh. So
High
maybe
school band, like those kids know a lot about sports because you have to know when you can play and when you can't and what's going on, and you have to
yeah,
know,
because they play
hey,
like fight songs and all kinds of stuff, and they're good. Like
right.
they're
Yeah, they know when it is. They know, hey, here comes a timeout. They know what's a full and a 30-second timeout. They know what
Mhm.
they can do, what they can't do. Defensive side of the ball, offensive side of the ball, you can and can't play and things like that. So those kids know a lot about sports and they're just having a fun time, but they really don't like sports. And you would have never have guessed it.
Yeah, that's actually true. I knew someone that played the saxophone and then ended up going to Boise State. And it was just some good years for Boise. He got to go be in the Rose Bowl and he got to travel all around in the
Mm-hmm.
band.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
I love the arts and promoting the arts. And Chicago has a great art space. I mean, that's where Kanye West repped that Chicago. And a lot of people came out of Chicago. And
Yeah.
so it's good.
Chance
We've
the
got
Rapper, all of them.
sports, we've got arts, we've got a lot of great things that really come out of Chicago.
Right. The only thing that's the best thing about Chicago that doesn't come out of Chicago is Bulls Deep at 8:30 on Sunday.
That's very, very true. We don't come. I don't know. Everyone always says, how do you talk about Chicago sports in the middle of Oklahoma? I'm like, well, I don't know. My producer approached me and I said, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's enough of us down here. There's a big thing. Also, if you are in Oklahoma and you're watching us and you're in the Tulsa area, next week at 3:40, the Bears play the Saints on a Sunday. We'll be at Savastano's Pizzeria, which is south of Tulsa in a town called Bigsby. It's right there at Bigsby and Tulsa where it meets. Come check us out. We'll be there. They'll have drink specials. They bring out the brats on Sundays, and they've got your great deep dish and thin crust pizzas, and they got Italian beef sandwiches. So not going to eat this entire week so that I can be ready to go that game.
And that's nothing against our sponsors, Papa John's. I actually had Papa John's this weekend and thought of us, and I had their stuffed crust, which is
they got that new stuffed crust.
I love it. I had it this weekend. I totally should have taken like pictures laying with the box and been like, look at me for promotion.
I got the stuffed crust Tuscan 6 cheese with a garlic Parmesan cheese crust.
I just got a pepperoni. My sister just love pepperoni, but I mean it was delicious. Like I am not saying like just pepperoni.
They have the best crust, and now they filled it with cheese,
and it's good cheese too. Their stuffed crust is so good. So definitely, we still love Papa John's as well.
Yes.
And I need to get some more coffee because after the weekend and New Year's, that's definitely so. I actually was thinking, I was like, why does he get all the coffee?
Hey, the Death Ink coffee is on its way. I've just got to get it sent out to you and Christina once it gets here. So I've got bags sent.
I'm so excited.
We're up by 7 right now with 5:17 left in the fourth quarter.
I was hoping that we could make this last. I'm so excited.
I was trying, but I think that's going to be it. I don't know what else we can do.
How much time is left?
It looks like there's about 6 minutes left in the game, but they're on a timeout.
Okay, so did you have New Year's Eve predictions or like things that you would like the Bulls to accomplish? So that was one thing that I was kind of doing this weekend. I was like, so what would I want out of this year?
So like New Year's resolutions, kind of?
Yeah, like, but for the Bulls, like what would you want them to accomplish this year? And not like bring world happiness, which not that you're the optimist.
I would. So there's such a young team with a new coaching staff. I would like to see them make the playoffs
this year. You think that they're qualified, or you think they're ready?
I think with the way that the playoffs are in basketball, if they play consistent and they begin to get more shots off, I think they can.
So are you saying make the playoffs or actually like be contenders?
I mean, make the playoffs.
Okay.
If they go in as, I mean, because what is it, 16 teams?
Something like that.
Make the playoffs? I mean,
I understand. It's
half the league.
goal. I think, well, one thing that we had talked about, I had three. One thing that we talked about, though, is working on their steals, and all that stuff. That was something, to really hone in on that. And something else is to maybe either assign from our current or maybe even look at someone for next year as maybe a mentor for Patrick. Someone that he can really partner up with, and really, I don't know, help develop him as a player. If we're looking at him as a long-term asset, he's worth putting the potential time into,
Yeah.
And so I think really developing him and White, isn't it White's? It's his second year, like some of these rookie people, isn't it right that it's his second year? He was a rookie last year. Yeah. I have to look at my notes. But
what was the question?
He pays attention to me. I promise.
I was trying to get the screen to refresh so that we have the score.
I said that it's White is his second year. I said, right, White was the rookie last year. So you have young players, Patrick and White, that getting somebody that is really going to work on that mentorship, because it's been done, it gets done, and it's productive. I mean, so if you're looking at them as somebody that's going to help develop this team over the long term, put the investment in them. Find somebody that's going to help develop them, because you have plenty of players that might not be, or plenty of players we could use, for potential that might not be being utilized, that are great, strong players that can help bring these guys up to, so they don't look so tiny against some of those guys, and they play a ball that they can. I mean, it's just it's growth.
Right.
So that was kind of where I was looking at it. And then, I mean, my unrealistic, because I have to be the unrealistic, is to win and to be in a positive side and to come out with like a positive season and all of that, and to
I
really
think if they can make that push, I think there's a lot of they have that potential. They just have to play.
They do. I'm not so doubting them. But that was my three. So do you think I did good on my New Year's resolutions for
I think you made realistic New Year's resolutions.
See, that's what I tried. The Bulls, I'm a little bit more realistic. The Bears, I'm really biased. I want the Bears to win. They're just the winner. I don't care. The Bears. The Bulls, I actually am a lot more rational. I was a cheerleader because I enjoyed getting to watch the sport. And I don't know if many people realize this. They take the cheerleaders along for free, and they tote you along everywhere. So that's why I was a cheerleader, because I wanted to go to the games. And they don't leave us behind. I have gotten hit with the ball a couple times because I wasn't paying attention. Not proudest moments of cheerleading life, but that's why I liked it. I actually enjoyed watching the sport. So this is a sport that I am a little bit more of a realist about. The Bears, it's a lot harder. I'm painted just orange and blue whenever I watch, and I'm just like, sorry.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough to watch the game today, but the Rams somehow pulled it out with a 25-year-old kid that's not played, and then Kyler Murray goes out. It's all crazy. But we've got next week, 8:30 every Sunday. Check us out.
We still love the Bears. I will always love them.
They're in the playoffs. Buy some shirts. deepinshitetown.com. You can get the limited edition playoff shirts. We posted them up at the beginning of this show. deepinshitetown.com. It'll say shop. Go there. Buy you some stuff. We'll get it out to you. Get Bulls deep into this season.
What's the time left?
It's like 3. It's like 3:30.
Okay, well then we can sign off, and we will just have to report, and we'll get to watch the end of it. Actually, watch the end of it, because that was the end. I saved my resolutions for the end. I even saved that.
There you go. So be Bulls Deep with us. Check us out. What is it? Bulls Deep Show on Instagram, Deep in Chi-Town, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. YouTube, click, like,
Sportscaster.
subscribe, whatever it is you kids do. Keep it up, Sportscaster. We love you guys over there
We
as
do,
well.
we do.
We're growing the show. We're also going to be doing a giveaway this week, so be on the lookout for that. We're trying to get our Facebook our Instagram for Deep in Chi-Town up to 1,000. We're going to be giving away something really, really cool.
Awesome.
So,
We'll try to get all of them up to 1,000. Maybe we can
yes.
we can compete. The shows can compete.
Yes.
I want my show to get to 1,000 before the Deep in Chi-Town, because that's your show. That can be your
like,
show.
Deep in Chi-Town's the whole thing, and I think we're like 26 away. You know what? We'll do it right now. If you guys can get 26, if we can get it up there, like, share, and comment, and get us up to, and tag, get us up to 1,000, you guys can get a Bulls Deep or a Bears brunch bomber jacket.
Awesome. And when is it before next show, or
before the playoffs start? Before the playoffs start on Sunday.
Okay. So that's not very many.
We have 7 days, 26 people. We can do it.
Oh my goodness.
Tag, like and tag a friend and follow. Do those things.
You'll see me promoting it all week so that we can try to give you a bomber jacket, and then see us all year for more giveaways. 2021 is going to be a great year.
It's going to be fun. So guys, until next time, have some fun.
Yay.
We'll see you.
Go Bulls Deep in everything you do, like we.
Yes.